Let's rock.
Welcome back, everybody, to what some are calling the shittiest podcast on the internet, Nerd Shit in the Dark. And I am your host, Chase the Chaz Skripek. Braden the Brad Nealster is off this week, so we are filling him in with two very special guests that all of us know from an earlier, per se, Halloween episode of the show. It's Spooky Sam and Killer Kai here, back again.
I was trying to think of a cool new nickname, and I forgot that I already had one.
You could have a new nickname if you want a new one.
Got them lined
It
up.
maintains.
It's not Halloween time, but I thought I'd still just go with it because I like
still
those.
kill, you know.
I'd like those
I
titles.
still like to kill it.
Yeah, Killer Kai, Spooky Sam. They're on tonight. What's going on, guys?
Hey-o.
It's good
Not
to have
much.
you back on the show.
Oh yeah, we just had some brunch down at the old Dented Keg. Little shout out there.
Yeah, DK.
DK.
The DK Lounge
that
in
was
Cleveland.
Fun. That was fun.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Oh, it is the D.
On for a special recorded episode where we're each bringing a little special surprise.
Chase is leading the way with this one. This is completely a mystery.
Yeah, I will be taking the lead, for like the most, of the show. But yeah, they have something picked out pretty cool, apparently, for
Allegedly.
for
the In the Dark
the In the Dark segment a little
Always-
later. I
always
think
a
I have a
favorite.
fun one, but I'm very interested in theirs. Because, the Halloween episode, it's been months now, but I was just saying to Miranda last night that, like, you guys' picks were two of my favorite movies. We watched that.
Well, thank you.
Because I think of Fright Night as, like, I will watch that often. Like, I really enjoyed that movie, and I'd only ever seen the remake before that. Dug it. Made it the poster for the show.
Did you watch it again after
I
that?
haven't watched it again since, but I will. I dug that movie. And then Terrifier was just balls to the walls crazy. Like, they're the two movies that sit with me the most from the
it was
Halloween
pretty
special.
insane.
So I'm excited to see what you brought to the table again. But,
For sure.
But we will get there.
Can we have a hint of what genre yours is, or
Let's give each other a hint
Like-
on the podcast.
one word out of context, like one of the
I've already got ours.
out of context hint.
Okay.
Canadian.
Do yours. Yeah, okay.
Oh boy.
Canadian.
Canadian. I want to say gooey.
I love that word.
Gooey. My movie is gooey.
Oh,
That's
this is a
good.
consistent.
That's good.
Yeah.
I think gooey is the theme.
That's good.
Gooey might be the theme.
I
Gooey
like it.
has a lot to do with it.
I think it does.
everybody will know what that means after the fact.
Is it Flubber?
Don't say that.
Did you hear that? I'm done giving hints on this show of the movies I picked.
Wow. Amazing.
Fucking hell. Dude, it's
And-
both times I've given a hint on this show. People
Kai
don't
just stood up
understand
and
this
walked
moment.
away from the mic.
I'm leaving it on. I'm going to leave it on.
Wait.
So everybody's aware of the In the Dark, at least my movie. Oh, yes.
Okay. Love that you've picked Flubber. If that is your pick.
Well, you know what? We've already made a
First of all.
scene of it. So, yeah, that was my pick. My
We
pick
watched-
was Flubber.
We rewatched that we've rewatched Flubber, what was it, like 2 years ago?
I haven't seen it in 20 years.
You haven't seen
at
This is
least.
going to be awesome.
I can't wait.
No, this is awesome
Well, I'm all
because
the
I
more
do have a
excited.
recent memory of it, so now I get to enjoy you getting a
Do you know
recent
what's
memory
really
of it.
funny about this moment, though?
So sorry.
Let me describe what this moment is like. So, when me and Braden first came up with the Into the Dark segment, we were picking movies, we were getting started, and I picked The Dark Crystal for the first one we did. But I had a movie in my head for the next one, and it was one that I was like, he'll never be able to guess it. Just like I thought you guys would never be able to guess this one. And then once again, he was like, give me a hint. Give me a one-word hint to what it was. And I just went, I didn't even give him a word. I just went, so basically, for people just listening, I'm just taking my
He
hand.
shrunk
I
his
shrunk my
fingers
hand.
down
Honey, I Shrunk
into
the Kids?
And Braden said, is it Honey, I Shrunk the Kids? And I was just like,
I would have said
fuck. And it
that,
was. It was
that
Honey,
or
I Shrunk the
Fly,
Kids.
I would have said.
It was Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. So
Wow.
I didn't go with it. So I just gave up on it because he guessed
can we
it.
still watch Flubber?
We're
'Cause
still going to watch Flubber
awesome.
because we're already here.
I want to see
But-
your new recent memory of Flubber.
I have, yeah, because I
That's
have none.
Awesome.
So one of the In the Dark segments will be Flubber this week. It's no longer in the dark for anyone,
we're in the light now.
but we're all in the light.
We've been
and
in
early reviews are saying it's a pretty good one, so I'm looking forward to that.
Early reviews are
We
in.
won't spoil. I can't even begin to guess yours with Canadian, unless Ryan Reynolds is in it.
No.
Okay, that's my best guess because he's Canadian. But ooh, wow, that was funny. This is good already. So
you want to do new nerd shit?
So I would like to start
new
the
nerd
episode off like we usually do with some new nerd shit, which for those who are just tuning into the show, this is where we just talk about something that we are doing new in the nerd world that we are experiencing. And I like to let my guests go first. So you guys can either team up, you can do your own separate new nerd shit, you can even have multiple. Take it away.
Yeah, well, I mean, we did just finish the Fallout show.
Mm-hmm.
We were kind of talking about that earlier before, and you haven't finished it yet, so I don't want to spoil the ending, obviously. But I do. I want to say this in defense that I did like a lot of the homage they paid. To the original set design and like all the creature designs.
It is a good
and
looking
everything.
show.
The costumes are very, very well made. It is like, you can tell that they paid really, really close attention to, and I think they borrowed some, of like the assets directly from the games to make like, all of the world.
Mm-hmm.
So it's I like it for that.
I like
reason.
the characters too. Like I like the main girl.
The characters are very fun.
Lucy's great.
That's the thing. She
The
could be
ghoul
a
is
very
great.
annoying character, but she's played so well that she's.
Oh, it
Yeah.
works so
You know
well
what
with
I
her
mean?
personality.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
she's
yeah,
this
she's
naive
funny.
vault
She's
dweller, but
funny.
then she has to kind of wise up to the world and grow really cold to everything. And
Says
the
things
ghoul-
like okie dokie and
the ghoul being like this antagonist, to her storyline, but also being the protagonist within his own world, his pre-war story, it was all very cool.
Mm-hmm.
The flashback sequences, tend to confuse me a little bit because it's like, just very intermittent.
Mm-hmm.
And, so that's the other thing I will say is that the story and the pacing maybe got a little bit convoluted for me, especially toward the end.
For me, I liked it up to the last episode.
The finale.
The finale. The finale lost
didn't
me.
stick the
fell asleep.
landing for you.
I fell asleep.
He fell asleep right at the like in the last 15 minutes, and I kind of half cared at that point because the whole episode lost me.
Oh
And
wow!
I'm curious to hear your opinion when you do finish
We
it.
are going to hopefully
But
finish
like
it
the
soon.
world building, the characters, it's really funny too. I don't know.
It's so
Have you
funny.
gotten to the gulper bit?
What's the gulper? Is
The
that
big monster. It's a big
he's
fishy
being
monster.
swallowed
They're
by
fish
the big
that they're
lizard,
fishing,
and he's
they're
like
using her
pulls-
as
Like the
bait.
big-
He pulls
Yes.
him out of
Yeah,
the
we've seen
mouth
that
of
one.
the
That
thing.
one's cool. I like that. I like
Yeah.
that. That's one of my favorite.
Well, I
bits.
just thought it was like the first episode when the massacre is taking place. The tone of that scene, though it's so very serious, it's so fucking funny, and that's how I knew like I was into the show. Like I already knew it starts heavy, so it won me pretty quick. But when that happened, I was like, oh, this is the type of show that can make me feel things all over. I can be sad, I can feel emotional, but I can also laugh my ass off.
Yeah,
so I
sure.
dig it. I dig it for that reason. It's a great show.
I like when serious shows have a sense of humor.
Yeah.
We just finished Succession.
Okay.
I don't know
I've
if
heard
you
that
know
one's
that.
pretty.
That's
I've never seen it, but I heard
It's like-
it's funny, even though it's not
It's
a comedy.
hysterical. I didn't
is
think it was
funny.
gonna be funny, and
That's what I've heard.
we blew through that show. But
How many? There's only like 5 seasons.
There's 4
or-
seasons.
4 seasons. Yeah, that's.
but they're hour-long episodes, and that's the
Yeah.
thing. You have to have that hour.
yeah,
And that was with Fallout too.
Yes.
Because it couldn't be our lunch show because we would have like 20 minutes. to
sure,
eat lunch or
sure,
whatever,
sure,
but-
sure. Well, that's our problem now with finishing. It's like by the time we get the kid to sleep, it's like, do we want to watch an hour-long episode of television?
Right.
No.
No.
So we're gonna get there.
Now we'll go to
I
watch
like
a
it lot.
movie, and it's like, oh, this movie's 2 hours. Is that okay? And it's like we literally watched a show where one episode was an hour, and we watched 4 episodes in a row.
Yeah. Well, sometimes if an episode's so good, you just keep going.
Right.
So I get that.
But what else? We're still watching Dungeon Meshi.
I want to give
which is still coming
another
out.
shout out to the Dungeon
Yeah,
Meshi
absolutely.
anime.
Because
It's getting good.
Which
the
is
anime
out.
wasn't out the last time you guys were on the show.
No, but we all sat down and watched it together. We watched the first episode in English.
Right? Yes, we did.
Huge
oh, yeah, us.
mistake.
Yeah.
Huge
Yeah.
mistake.
We
We're,
did.
we're typically sub fans as opposed to dub fans,
We're
but you
subs.
know you gotta reach over the fence every now and then.
I was a dub fan,
You
so
gotta
they
see-
they appeased to my
see what the other side is like.
my plea of can we watch it in English because I don't want to read today.
It's fine. It's fine.
And I didn't
but-
mind it. I didn't even when you guys
It's
were making fun of some of the
okay.
voices.
It's
I was like,
okay. I mean, it's
"These sound
obviously
fine to me."
it takes getting used to. You know, when you're watching
I
it
think,
one way for so long.
Especially
Yeah.
watching it subbed first. It's just
for
such
a long
a jarring
time. Yeah.
difference.
I mean, that's the whole. I mean, that's where the sub dub debate I think really comes from. Is people hear a voice a certain way first, and then they go, "Well, that doesn't sound right to me."
sure.
Because I mean,
Everybody's interpreting the animation their own way.
we've had this conversation before because I'm a dub fan. I watch it in Japanese, but I prefer it in English because it's the language I speak. And people
I
always
will
say,
We watch everything with subtitles.
yeah, and
we
I
do.
don't. I'm not a big subtitle guy.
That's just
That- I
inherently
think that's
like second nature in our house. We just
You just have the subtitles on anyway.
I feel like it's something that to me it adds to the experience because you don't want to miss dialogue.
I'm a
And
big
sometimes
anti-subtitle
I would
guy,
miss-
but
I don't like to miss dialogue.
I also have like ADHD, so I can't keep up on the stuff. If I'm reading, I'm watching.
Sure, yeah, that's fair. No, I totally get you. I
I
understand
get you
the
too.
subtitles. I just don't typically like subtitles on because
Yeah.
I'm always looking at them. If I'm watching something in
And you wanna watch
Japanese,
the animation,
I want the
too.
subtitles there. But if it's in the language I speak and hear, I'm like, I don't need to see that. I have ears.
Well, to its credit, I will say it allows more people, I think, to get into Dungeon Meshi. As if you didn't read the manga, and you only watch English anime, it's still allowing more people to get into the fandom. and
Oh, I
everything.
know.
So I think that's super
The
cool.
fandom is growing.
And
That's weird.
for sure.
Yeah, I've been
For
hearing
sure
a lot
it is.
about it. I've been hearing a lot of it since the anime dropped, and that's usually
I'm glad for that.
it's crazy how some manga just need to be turned into an anime before people really hear about it. But this is one of those ones that it's an anime now, and people seem to be liking it.
And I only
in the
started
community.
I only started reading it as soon as I heard it was going to be an anime. I'm like, oh, interesting.
Wow.
This is a thing that's coming out.
it took some
soon.
time,
But I
man,
did.
'cause
I
you got
caught
that
up.
manga
I caught
a
up
long
very
time ago.
fast, and I just finished the last book online.
Yeah.
But I love it.
Oh my
I
gosh.
think it's just fun.
And the anime's doing it justice.
The anime
For the
is
most part,
cute.
yeah. It's really got the sense of humor about it that I think is true.
The sense
to
of
show.
humor in Dungeon Meshi is essential. It has great timing.
Mm-hmm.
And to that point, I want to bring up one more. I'm not an anime fan, but there is an anime on Netflix. It's The Way of the House Husband.
Oh,
Is that what it is? It's about this this old
mob boss.
retired mob boss husband turned house husband. So
Yeah.
he cooks. He does all this
Oh.
stuff, and he gets really serious about
I've
it.
heard of this when it was a manga. I didn't
It's
know the
so
anime came
funny.
out. What's it called again?
It's The Way of the House Husband. It's
Okay.
on Netflix.
Huh.
It's so fucking funny.
And he's if I'm thinking he's like a chubby guy with glasses now or something.
He has glasses, but he's very ripped,
Maybe he's
kind
not
of. He's
chubby.
kind of
Okay.
intimidating.
Yeah, no, he's got a good
He's
haircut.
kind of intimidating, and he'll go to
got it
buy
deep in your
meats at the
voice.
supermarket,
Yeah.
and he's doing it in a very mob way.
He was called
Yeah.
the immortal dragon, and now he's
People
got a
recognize
wife,
him.
and he's domesticated.
He's-
But
yeah, domesticated mob boss. It's
every
so
now and then
funny.
people are just
Oh,
hey, I
okay.
recognize
I
you.
just pulled up a picture, so I'm looking at
I
it
have
now.
never laughed so hard.
Huh.
Yeah, very funny, very funny.
And the
Sunglasses.
really quick episodes.
And I think both of those shows really have a nice but a wholesome quality about them where it's you be kind to yourself and take care of yourself, and they teach the messaging of Dungeon Meshi especially is about hey, you got to take good care of yourself if you want to do well. If you want to slay that dragon, you have to fucking eat
right.
3 meals a day, and you have to get your 8 hours of sleep, and you have to take care of yourself, and the only way you can do that is by helping your friends and really
it's still an
like-
anime.
it is it's
Your
so,
friends are still
my
the
friends
most
are my power.
Exactly.
it's so that, but it's
That was
also
hauntingly close.
It's really influenced by the the D&D aspects of it, and all the monster trivia elements, very fun.
Yeah.
The mangas have at the end of each book, whatever monster was prominently featured that book, they'll have a special extras section about it. Oh, did you know that ogres they typically prefer human meat to half elf meat.
That's so racist.
Interesting.
I-
oh.
Oh, sorry.
It is racist.
We always watch it during lunch, so it always looks really good when they're
Yeah.
preparing the food, like seafood. So
Chicken
it's
sandwich.
kind of
That's a good lunch show
it's like
because the
food
anime are
porn.
only 20 minutes long, so
it's like
yeah,
15,
it's pretty
20
perfect.
minutes.
What's your new nerd shit?
Well, mine, at least the first part of my new nerd shit, I guess I'm gonna stay in the lane of anime since we're kind of in that lane. Mine's more of a manga than it is an anime, but I recently picked up the first 2 copies of a manga I'd been hearing about.
Ooh.
It's called, now I'm just
Got a
saying
little
this
show and tell.
the way I'm reading it. It could be said differently, but I'm reading it as Gachiakuta is the name of this series, and I had first heard about it a couple years ago. People were talking a lot about it. It finally released in America, a couple volumes, so I was like, let's check what the hubbub was about a year ago when I first started reading it or hearing about it. And
You
I
want to let me
yeah,
through
yes,
that?
I want you to look at it. That's why I
Flip
brought
through
it. I think the art about it is unique and very interesting and very expressive, and that's one of the things I like about it. But the writer of this series, I can't remember his name, but he worked under the guy that made Soul Eater. If you've heard of Soul Eater
yeah.
and Fire Force.
Sure, I was going to say.
So
I've
he-
seen some of the Soul Eater show.
He worked with that guy for a long time, and this is
I
like
can
his
see it in the expression.
stepping
Wow.
out. Yeah,
Totally.
Really sharp
he's kind of
faces.
evolved it in his own way.
I love the face work.
Yes, there's a
I love the
smile
sharp
The
in
eyes
the,
and
in the
the
second
teeth.
volume. There's a smile
This
face
is
that
kinda
is
like my
so
art.
funny. But
Like the really
yeah,
dark.
I think the series is interesting. I'm only 2 volumes in, which is like roughly 14 chapters. I don't have a lot of the plot, but I will describe to you the bit that I do have about it. So Gachiakuta it follows this boy. His name is Rudo. He's the kid on the cover there. He's got the white hair and the crazy eyes. And he lives in this world that it's a society that they're on this like floating society in the sky that's separated into like the high class people. And then he's part of this group called the tribes people, which I'm assuming is like the lower class people of this area. And if you break rules in this world, they throw you off the ledge into the pit. It's where all the garbage, that's where they dump garbage. It's called the garbage pit. But if you're a criminal of some sort, you get fucking tossed off the side of it. So this main character, his name is Rudo. He got his mom and dad, I don't know about his mom, but his dad is a murderer and they got thrown off the fucking thing when he was like an infant. And they fucked up his hands. They did something to his hands. We don't know what yet. They're real fucked up looking. So he wears these gloves that cover his hands. And he grew up being raised by this, I don't even know. It's just some guy. He considers him his dad. And I'm sure there's a backstory to him too, but I don't know it yet. So now it's modern time. I mean, he's a lot older than when he was a baby, when his parents got thrown off the edge. But he essentially catches his his father, the guy that is his not father.
Right.
I'm going to edit that better. He is murdered by this random, like, cloaked character. And that character runs off, and the police catch Rudo, like...
He's got a
They
crazy
think he
face.
killed his dad. So they end up throwing him off the side at the very beginning.
It's because he looks like that.
But you find out... So he lands in the garbage pit, but you find out there's a whole society down there of people that, like, live in this filth that comes from the sky, and the garbage like collects and turns into garbage monsters, and they have to fight. And there's this group of people called the cleaners, and they have to fight the garbage monsters.
My gosh.
Yada yada yada. So that's like the basic premise, but within that is like every character that is a cleaner has a certain ability where, like, if you hold on to an object and it's precious to you, it becomes like your special item that you can like put your energy, their like chakra into to turn into like a weapon. And the message of the series is very like one person's trash is another person's treasure. So because they treasure these items, it gives them this power. Now Rudo is special in the way that like his gloves that were given to him by his not dad are very special to him, but he can also turn any item he touches into a treasure or a weapon, where like other characters, they have their one specific thing. Rudo can turn everything, and we don't know why yet. And one of his main character qualities that you learn about him at the beginning is like every trash to him is treasure. Nothing should be thrown out. He feels thrown out by his family.
That shows a lot about his character.
Right.
Yes.
So because he already had this care for any piece of garbage, I think that has something to do with why he can turn everything into it.
Man.
But I also think he has a special power.
That's really
and
cool.
That's still just like the
That
Dungeon
stays with the
Meshi.
theme of
Like that
Dungeon
is. It's
Meshi.
like
Sure.
waste not, want not. You know, it's
Right.
like you got to take care of the environment
Right.
you're in, and like, you know,
Those characters look really cool.
And yeah, like
I
I,
love
said,
that art style.
the art style is really cool.
Mm-hmm.
The characters, that, you know, we're very early days, but you meet quite a bit of interesting characters. And like I said, there's this subplot. Here's that hooded character. He's this creepy hooded guy, but I don't even know what's going on with him yet. He murdered this kid's dad or whatever, and then disappeared and got him in trouble for it. But they're like looking for him down on the ground. Because I guess it's odd that he survived his fall as well. So like, it's weird. And they just like...
they crucified them all
At the
up
end of
and,
the
like,
second volume, they kill a beast that... So, like, the garbage beasts just exist. I don't know if they really explain why they exist, but they're kind of mindless. But this one they kill isn't, and it has, like, inside of it a special treasured item. So, like, they're now capable, maybe, of using these, like, the monsters? I don't know where the story's really heading.
How much of it is there?
I think I've heard there's about 100 chapters so far out. And like I said,
like...
I'm only in, I think, 13 or 14 is where the second volume ends, so I'm not super far, but... yeah, it keeps going. His goal right now is to get Ruto, like, he wants to learn how to get back to the sphere, which is what his continent is. Mm-hmm. But I also think he's part of this, group of cleaners now.
Look at that
like,
last page.
It's
Cleaners in the
interesting.
garbage
I'm really enjoying it, and I
cool.
think they should make an anime out of it. But even if they don't, I think people should read this because I think it's got a lot of potential. And the main character, like, he's a really nice kid. Like, he doesn't want to be compared to his dad, who is a murderer. But when he's put to, like, the pressure, he snaps. And, like, when they go to, like, throw him off the thing, he's just like, I'm gonna come back here. I'm gonna kill every single one of you. So he has these moments where he gets, for a main character, very murdery.
I don't know why. The whole time I was looking through, like, the black and white version of that, it was giving me very Jeff the Killer, which sounds so cringy to say out loud. But,
Maybe.
like, it was giving me creepypasta.
It is. It's,
But, like,
there's a creepy look to
like
all
the
of this.
YouTube 2012 horror genre anime core.
Mm-hmm.
Is this a newer
This is
series?
relatively new. I think it only came out maybe 2 years ago. Started being
It has like
released.
I can't explain it, like a nostalgic art style for me.
I mean, there's
Very
a lot. Like I said,
MySpace
it looks
horror.
like Soul Eater. Like
It does look like Soul Eater.
and definitely borrows from that.
I wish I
think
would
this
have
guy
watched
drew
more of
for
Soul
him.
Eater.
Soul Eater's good. I have a good chunk of the manga in my other room there. So I'm Okubo, and like I love Fire Force. I don't know if you've ever watched Fire Force. That's his other one. I fucking love that. It's a little over the toppy at times, but yeah, this is cool.
Did you play that DS game, The World Ends With You?
I have never played that game.
Oh,
I've heard about it.
I think that also has a very similar look to this. I don't know.
Yeah, no, you're right though. I
don't
do
think
know
it's
the
the same
look.
Soul
I do
Eater
know the
guy,
look and
but-
the art style. Yeah, yeah. I hope they make an anime out of it. But if not, check it out. It's fun.
Cool.
And it's funny too. There's a lot of funny and like character designs are cool. Character designs are cool. Some of the characters you meet are really cool, interesting, unique as they are with anime. This guy's kind of interesting. I don't know how to take him yet, but I think I like him, and I think I'm supposed to like him, so that's good.
I love when you like a character that it's like, oh, you're not supposed to like this character at all. Actually,
Oh,
you're
yeah.
reading this so wrong.
I love when things do that. I wouldn't say that about that guy, but
No.
but I know exactly what you mean.
Okay.
And I love it. Fallout gives me that feeling sometimes.
Oh, really?
What's the
Ghoul?
What's the black dude's name?
Can we
Titus.
talk about him for a second?
Sure.
Because
Maximus.
I need
Maximus.
to say,
Yes.
I need to say something about Maximus.
Sure. Yeah.
Because I said it to him, and I was like, listen, I don't know how this is going to come across. Finn from...
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
Totally.
it's
the whole time, I was like, this is just Finn. This is just Finn.
Yeah. This is just the
It
Force
was, like,
Awakens.
the
This is just the Force
Stormtrooper
Awakens,
aesthetic
like,
of
in
it
general.
all.
Yeah.
For real, like the whole Stormtrooper. I don't remember what the whole thing he was involved with was called.
The Brotherhood.
Yeah.
of
The
Steel.
Brotherhood. So
I like the actor.
same vibe. I like the actor a lot, and I
Yeah.
love when he.
I don't know if I like
if
the
you've gotten to the
character.
part where he gets a little power hungry
Yeah.
with the little guy that follows him.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I've seen to the point where the little like he escapes and he's now teamed up with Lucy. and-
That was one of my.
The last thing I
bits.
saw is they fell into a vault. Him and Lucy
Oh,
fell
okay.
from that
Okay.
hospital.
Yeah,
into a
he
vault.
like puts on a bathrobe and like
Yeah,
starts
yeah.
eating like popcorn
Yeah.
and shit.
So you learn like that's the thing about Maximus. Back to Fallout, but like he sucks. Like okay, so the Ghoul is a villain that I seem to like, and Maximus. I think is a protagonist that I don't like. Like he's not
Well,
a
he
trustworthy guy.
struggles with
He's a
that.
liar.
Well, it's him
He's kind of a
struggling with
douche.
that morality though, because
Yeah.
like he's like, well, I want to be in charge for once.
Yeah.
And then he becomes in charge, and he's just kind of like, I feel really bad about being in charge because that's not the kind of person he
Yeah.
is. But he does take advantage of it
He
because
sure
you know,
does.
I mean, when you come up from nothing, you're like, yeah, I kind of want to spit on this guy. But
Yeah.
at the end of the day, if you have that realization, it shows a lot about your character.
Mm-hmm.
So I definitely learned to like him way more later on in the season
Okay.
than I did.
I hope I do
But
too
I
because I
was-
really didn't,
But I was, you know,
and I felt like I should. I was
just
like
thinking
I
about
think I
Finn
should
that
like this
entire
guy.
fucking time. I was just like, this is so, because I saw that Force Awakens so many goddamn times.
Yeah, I mean,
I
I, love
liked it
the
a
Force
lot.
Awakens.
I know
but it
nothing
was
about the
very
video
Force
game.
Awakens.
The only experience I had with Fallout was you playing the latest
The
Fallout.
fourth.
So I was expecting to see characters that
Well,
I knew.
yeah, the story is not congruent with that. It's
I like that they
but
picked
they're
characters
they're
that aren't
taking
even in the
same
game.
themes of like vault dwellers and like coming out of the vault and like all that and post radiation humanity and like I think that's a really big theme that I see a lot right now is like especially with like the Godzilla movies making a comeback is you see a lot of this like atomic annihilation like this nuclear Oppenheimer. All of this is very culturally relevant right now, especially with Russia being like a world power that's kind of on like you know, the aggression, like, you know, with their show of force is like, I think everybody's kind of talking about this, like, threat of nuclear force is really, like, kind of on people's minds again, you know. It's like, it goes to show that, like, history kind of repeats itself, and, you know,
it's like the modern zombies thing again.
I think,
you know what I mean? Like, instead of zombies,
Dead,
we're seeing a lot of
nuclear, like,
yeah.
everything like going wrong and
that's the best
up
way to make a story, though. That's the best way to form a character is to put them in those absolutely dire circumstances where they have to look out for themselves.
I love seeing those themes because it's like, what do we do after we've shot ourselves? Not just in the foot, but in the humanity. You know, what do we do?
And listen, we're shooting ourselves in the humanity every day.
That's ooh, what a line!
Well, I'm gonna say,
what a tagline!
Well, it's good to have some beans in your basement for when the shit goes down. Is what I'm saying. Whatever it is, I'm
a
not
little laser rifle or two.
I'm not gonna get into the conspiracy.
Some beans in your basement.
You never know.
I like that.
You might get hungry for some beans.
You might be put in a situation where all you got is some beans. Fair enough.
It's fun to think about. Yeah. How do you react to a world that you don't remember and you don't recognize anymore?
I do love the Fallout aspect of like the human experimentation, like because I didn't know anything about the games, but the way that they formed those
social
societies.
Experiments in their own way, and like every vault is bought and paid for, and they're kind of like, how are we going to use this as like
it's kind of like consumerism,
social engineering,
and advertising.
We're going to test like
it's such an
the addictive nature of gambling, or we're going to test like all these different like things that every vault was its own kind of experiment.
Yeah,
and it's fun to think about.
Don't get me started on the dystopia of gambling and all the BetMGM commercials that I get, because I could fucking go all day.
We're living in it.
I think dystopian, not just nuclear type of things, but a dystopian society is a very relevant topic for people right now.
Yeah,
and
whatever that means to you,
it could mean a number of things. Yeah. For instance,
general unrest.
A couple episodes ago, we watched Dazed and Confused for the 420 special. I don't know if you guys have ever seen that movie, but me and Braden referred to it as also kind of dystopian because it's just this world where like these are high schoolers, but they're like running the town. You know what I mean? So like, in a way, that was sort of dystopian. So dystopian to one person could mean a totally different thing.
It's like, what's your dystopian future? And you could say, I don't know.
Well, that's what kind of leads me. This is a great segue into my next new nerd shit type thing. And it's funny because I told you I was saving a story for you guys.
Oh, no. Here it comes.
So I'm going to give you guys a story. And I also have a full new nerd shit, but we're going to do the story first. And we'll dive into what the new nerd shit is after that. So Miranda and I were very early for a movie the other day. We were very early for this movie. We were going to the movies on Thursday, and we got there extra early. And we thought we were going to be late. So every Thursday, my mom watches Sora. So Miranda and I have like a date night. So we go to the Dented Keg, get dinner, do something. This week's, we were going to a movie at 6:30. So we had to eat and kind of get the fuck out of there as fast as we could. And we got tied up talking to one of our waitresses, and it was 6:15 when we left. It was about 25 minutes from here. And I fucking fly, guys. I'm cruising because I was like, I do not want to miss this is not a movie that I think I can miss any part of. Like, we got to get there.
You still haven't said what the movie is.
Exactly. So, we'll get there, Sam. We get to the movies. We get to the movie theater, and it's 6:35. So I'm like, trailers are totally still going on. We're late, but we'll make it. There's like 4 or 5 cars in the parking lot. I'm like, what the fuck? Why is there only 4 or 5 cars in the parking lot? Like, this movie sounded like it was a pretty big deal. So, okay, this is weird. So we go in. I'm past it. I'm like, we'll get our. We already have seats there. I bought the tickets ahead of time. So Miranda's like, I'm gonna go to the bathroom. I'm like, all right. I'm like, the guy scanned my ticket, and we're just sitting there. I'm like, 2 tickets to Furiosa, the Mad Max movie.
Is that out?
And he scans my tickets, and he's like, let me see that again. I'm like, yeah, man. And he scans them again. And he's like, yeah, these tickets, your tickets are for next week. And I'm like, oh, stupid me. I thought, and I had bought the tickets while I was driving, so I was like, oh, fuck, I must have picked next week instead of today. And I was like, could I get 2 tickets for for it tonight then. And he's just like, I think he knows that I don't know, but he's trying to like play it off like I should. So he's just like, he's like on his computer like looking, and he's just like, I think that movie, it doesn't come out till next week. And I was like, oh fuck, man.
I don't know, but
I just saw the premiere footage like yesterday, so I was like, that is
here's
not
the thing.
out yet.
Here's the thing. I saw
wanna
all
see
the
that.
reviews all week. People had out of theater reactions to it. So in my head, I was like,
Yeah.
okay.
And also, the
It's out.
theater has a copy of this movie
Well,
in
they're
their
not going to show it
establishment.
early. They're
I'm
not going to
sure.
show it early.
They're not going to show it a week early for me.
They're beholden to Hollywood schedule.
I
Yeah.
want to see that so bad. I love
I can't wait to see
Fury
it.
Road.
I can't wait to see it. But I felt so stupid because I just look at this guy and being like, because I'm
Don't
not a
tell
guy.
me it's not
I have
out
a podcast
if you
where I talk
have
about
the
movies.
movie.
I know when movies are coming out. I don't know how
Clearly
I fucked that
not.
one up. Because I for the whole week I was like, Mad Max comes out this week. We gotta go to the movies. No, we were a week early. Not only were we not 10 minutes late, we were a week early.
That's how early
for
I
our
want to
movie.
be. I freak out. I have a panic attack if I'm going to be
You're
late
gonna
to
be
a
late.
movie.
Yeah.
That happened to me
God,
at a mall.
so-
I had a full-on panic
I'm
attack.
really looking forward to
Yeah.
it though. This movie when
Cool.
I do get to see it.
Du Bois Theater's awesome.
Du Bois Theater's pretty great.
Shout out, Du Bois
Golden
Theater.
Ticket Cinemas.
Yeah, they have great seats.
Sold out of
And
Oppenheimer,
they were pretty
though.
cool. We ended up buying tickets to go see Planet of the Apes, but I hadn't seen the last two, and we like sat in the theater for about 10 minutes, and I was like, we were both like, we should just go home. Like, it's probably better to go home than see these movies.
I don't
know
see my
anything about.
father in real life, but I called him yesterday and he went, I really want to see Rise of the Kingdom of
Kingdom
the
of the
fucking
I heard it's
Planet of the
good.
Apes.
I heard it's good.
But I'm like, what are you doing in your life? And he's like, man, I really want to see this new Planet of the Apes
Go
movie.
see it then, Dad.
Shut up about it.
Yeah. I mean, the last couple.
I saw the first remake with James Franco. I
Me
did not-
too. That's what I always tell people, and
whatever.
it's all right, but it's the lowest rated one. The two after that are in like 90 percentile of good
Yeah?
movies. I've never seen them, so I didn't.
I like the
We should make
original.
a movie out of that.
I want to watch
Movie
the
night
original again.
where we,
Oh, for sure. Well,
The
this is
Charlton
the
Heston
thing.
one is the best.
And this is what I'm mad about, because I was saying earlier to you guys about how I would have picked a different movie. And I would have picked Mad Max Fury Road for my In the Dark movie, but I thought I had to watch, so I had never seen it. So I was like, I gotta watch it this week because the new one comes out
Yeah.
this week. So we forced ourselves to watch. Well, I saw it on
Did you love it?
Tuesday night. I fucking loved
It was
this
so
That would have been a
movie,
good one to
guys.
watch,
I love.
too.
Nuts.
Here's another thing. I knew you guys were gonna be on the show. I almost texted you and be like, "Do you guys want to come watch the new Mad Max movie with us in
Absolutely.
Du Bois? Like,
Whatever.
you should come see it with us this week when it's coming out." But I almost invited you the other day, and I was like, that would have been embarrassing to invite them to a movie
Wait,
that
are you
doesn't
going
come
this
out.
week?
We're going this Thursday now.
I have Thursday off.
You guys should come.
We should come.
Yeah, well, I got like the 2 C seats on the end, so if you buy your tickets ahead of time, just pick the 2 seats
would
next
love
to us.
Maybe.
So, but I just saw Fury Road for the first time.
That's awesome.
Last week, and I fucking dug this movie, guys. You're clearly big fans.
I think I saw it 3 times at the theater.
Okay. Oh, you're a
Because
really
my
big.
dad liked
you
Mad
really
Max a
enjoy
lot,
this
so
movie.
like I went first, and I just loved it so much. It's just so much fun, and it's a big screen movie. I was like, I have to see this on the big screen
I wish I
again.
would have seen it in theaters. Yeah, that's why I want to see the new one so bad.
When
in theaters.
COVID was happening, Sam saw Jurassic Park for the first time on the big screen.
Oh, fuck,
Stop.
Sam.
No,
That's great.
But that's awesome. Like
That
I
is
wish that
awesome.
had been
That is
my
awesome.
experience, because when people talk about it, like you see all those details that are absolutely fucking perfect.
Oh yeah,
on that
it was
big
made
screen.
for the theater. Yeah.
It was
Fucking great
pretty
movie.
lucky.
Yeah. Do you, Kai? You love
I'm
this
saying
movie.
fuck a lot. I'm sorry.
I say fuck a lot too.
Okay.
Explain the plot of Mad Max Fury Road to the shitters who may have not seen it, or if they have, just give it a brief rundown, and I'll
People
tell you.
deserve
Basically,
water.
yeah, people deserve water.
Yeah, that's true.
It's about this dude. It's been a while. It's about this dude that like has all of these women that exist under him.
It's not about him.
Well, it's not about him, but he's the antagonist. Okay, it's about this
Yeah.
guy that's hoarding all the water, and he's hoarding all the women, and he's like breeding them and like
And his
having
name
them
is
produce.
Joe.
His name is Joe.
Sleepy Joe.
No, it's not. And then you have it's about this wasteland where this guy is hoarding all the resources, and then you have this Furiosa is the character that is like the one who is breaking these women out of this place, and then you have
Situation.
Max, who is also a prisoner of war, prisoner of dystopia, whatever.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
getting out of his situation as Max does. He's kind of like the Big Lebowski of the wasteland, and he comes under this like harem of girls and their savior, and he's their ragdoll for the rest of the movie, and it's the best action movie ever, and it never stops.
Yes.
It never
It
stops.
is an action. It is the
You
actionist
jump
action
in,
movie I've ever
you
seen
know
in my
the
life. I
characters
think.
like boom, boom, boom. This is what the character is. Here you go.
Yeah.
Now they're in a chase scene.
Yeah. for a movie that doesn't give a lot of time for the characters just to talk and interact,
don't
and
talk-
that does happen.
Max never talks hardly, but he still
He
has
says
such a
few
solid
things,
character.
yeah, but you feel like you know all the characters
Right.
really well.
The vehiculars are so cool.
Yes.
And they're all real.
Awesome, dude.
The guitar
They're
guy
all-
with the
yeah,
flames.
yeah. The guitar
the
guy
bungee
is the
cord.
coolest
Real.
guy. There's this guy.
Let
so
me
that-
emphasize, they're all real vehicles.
Yeah, real practical
how I
effects.
describe this movie
Every
is,
single one.
is this is a movie. It's like not the final battle in Return of the King, but the battle at outside of Gondor, outside of Gondor, Minas Tirith, where they have
the
the big
whole
battle.
thing.
But the whole movie, and instead of horses and elephants and all the things in Middle Earth, there are souped up muscle cars and just like if the world ended today, what we would turn our dystopia into is what this movie looks like. Because they're having like horse battles and chase downs, but on vehicles
Yeah.
with guns, and it's crazy, and they're jumping on each other's
War
ship.
boy
and it's,
culture.
It's
Oh
modern.
Selling
my
yourself
God.
for an idea. Like,
Yeah.
Nux is my favorite character. I love the idea of, like, the war boys, and they sell themselves to this idea of, like, ascending when they achieve some great,
Right,
you know,
right. They want to go. They're going to
victory.
Valhalla. Everybody thinks they're
Valhalla.
going to Valhalla.
I love that. And this man literally is living in this wasteland with a cancer on his neck that he puts a smiley face on. And I was just like dying. But he, you know, like that is his whole purpose in life. But he falls in love and he finds out that there's a different reason for everything. And it's like what drives us in this world where we kind of just have to look out for ourselves and not fall victim to some kind of, I don't know, ideology or...
Spoilers in case you haven't
Spoilers
seen
in case
Mad
you haven't
Max
seen
Fury
Fury
Road
Road.
movie that came out fucking 10
It's
years
so
ago.
good.
2015.
Everybody
It
should
is
watch
old,
it.
but-
Almost.
Everybody should watch.
I mean, yeah,
every
this
Mad
is
Max
kind
movie.
of a full spoiler because I'm just talking about my experience. I mean, so Miranda and I, we actually had to watch it in 2 nights, but like that was, I felt like we didn't miss a beat because it's just constantly moving. But before I had watched the movie, I'd seen parts of it, and I would always tell people, and it's funny now knowing what the whole movie is, but I would tell people, I'm like, I always run into it like. There's always like a car chase scene going on. Like I thought I was just always seeing one part of the movie. Little did I know that was the whole
yeah, the car
movie.
chase scene.
Yeah.
Even when chase
The
scenes aren't
movie.
happening, even when there's those lulls in between, you know a car chase is coming. They're being pursued by another
Oh, yeah,
car chase
constantly.
battle. That's gonna happen.
That is it, though. I mean,
That
that's
is it.
So
no
good.
pun intended. That's the driving force of the movie.
And then they just
These
get to a
guys
certain
are
point,
after us.
and then they get to a certain point, 3/4 of the movie in, and they go, "We're gonna turn the fuck around now," and they just go back. They do it again, and it's awesome, and it's
is so
great, and like
awesome.
you slowly see characters because like Max.
the storm scene.
He originally is
Yeah.
like hijacking Charlie or Furiosa and the girls to like so he can escape.
Yeah.
Like he has a gun to them for most of the time, and then slowly but surely they end up teaming up and trusting each other. Even though
Yeah.
he had them at gunpoint only moments ago in the movie, you're like they trust each other, they love each other. Isn't Nick Holt in this movie? And he's
Nicholas Holt is Nux.
yeah. So like you have this character who's like full blown on the bad guys team for the longest time.
He's,
so
like,
the bad
radical.
guy just kicks him off, and then he becomes a good guy, and it's like, oh man, like,
the womp on that
character
guy.
development, man, character development.
Good
Crazy
character-
characters, but you love them.
crazy characters for basically barely any dialogue.
Yeah.
That is just it. Like the acting is just so good
Yeah.
facially. Like Tom Hardy pulls that whole movie off and he barely
Movie
fucking
off,
does
he
anything.
says,
He's amazing.
Every time he speaks, it's like 3 words, 4-word sentence, and his voice is so fucking cool. I wish he would have done that voice for Bane instead of his
Seriously.
Bane voice. Fuck.
Fucking detached
Yeah.
ass speaker.
So,
Really
Sorry.
loved it. Yeah.
A lot of new nerd shit going on.
What's up, Sam?
oh no, nothing. I'm
Oh.
just wondering
Yeah.
what's
When are we jumping into
what movie are we gonna watch?
what are we
first?
watching first? So we haven't revealed our pick yet.
Which you won't until we
You've shown your hand.
Well, you guessed my hand.
Well, you showed it. You said gooey.
I said
You
gooey.
said gooey for kids, and I said
I know. I did give you too much information beforehand. I didn't know what I was gonna go with. I went with gooey. I had a lot of things in my head.
I'm so excited to rewatch Flubber again, though, with like new old eyes.
Yeah.
New old eyes.
We'll have to think about it.
Well, I mean,
When we get back, you're either gonna hear us talk about Flubber or a different movie. We're gonna decide that off air. But if everybody, unless you guys have any other new nerd shit to talk about, we'll
that
fuck
was
off.
a lot.
Yeah, works for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought we introduced our movie ahead of time.
No,
no.
In the dark
I
segment.
like the idea of
The
turning
audience
the
is
movie
in the
on.
dark.
And
About
you're
what
in the
movie?
dark, so like
Okay,
your
okay.
eyes will be closed
Very
until the movie
Exactly.
starts, and then we
Yes,
go.
everybody's in the
Got it.
dark until
Cool.
post. Yeah,
All
that's
right.
the fun of it. All
We'll
right,
see you
gang.
then.
We'll see you soon, shitters.
Nice try. Anyways, Alistair, this is Psycho Gorman, or PG for short.
Silence!
Okay. We brought you some reading material, PG, and a TV to watch. Did you sleep okay? I'm sorry we didn't bring any pornos.
Petty displays of wealth. How can your short lifespans allow such narcissism?
Yeah, but look at all the hunky boys.
I do not care for hunky boys. Or do I?
We just wrapped up the first In the Dark film. Sam and Kai's pick for today. We decided not to start with Flubber. So, the movie that we watched, which would one of you guys like to announce it to the shitters?
Psycho Gorman.
Psycho Gorman. Now, Psycho Gorman
Rated
was
PG.
rated PG.
Rated R for yeah.
Actually rated R. Psycho Gorman. So we started this film, and I had no idea. Like, it starts interestingly. It starts a little all over the place. I couldn't really wrap my brain on what kind of movie I was watching. Probably till about 20 minutes in, and then it still kind of keeps getting weirder and weird, but...
I think it gets better as it goes. The first time I watched this movie, the first 10 minutes, I was kind of, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
And then it really shifts into you can see the practical effects. There's a lot of puppets in this movie.
Yeah. Well, like we
It's
said.
a comedy, horror, action, low budget Canadian movie.
Yeah. And it's not, I wouldn't even consider it horror. At the beginning of the
Sure.
movie, I thought it was going to be a horror movie.
It's on Shudder, which is
But
the
then it
only
didn't.
reason that to assume
It's a Shudder original.
It's a Shudder
I think.
original.
Do you
Which is
guys
like
want
the
to
horror movie
explain the
place.
plot a little?
Do you want to do something during
might-
this podcast?
Excuse me.
You might even want to get up. I don't know.
I don't want to get up.
Just
Thank
to
you
get
very
closer
much
to
for
the mic.
asking.
You wanna
I'm
bring
too
the mic
cozy in
closer
the
to him?
beanbag chair. No,
I
they
can explain
hear
it.
me from.
If you want to
We'll
talk
make it
about
work.
Flubber.
We'll make it work.
All right, I'll just shut up.
No. Psycho Gorman
Yeah.
is about this guy. You want to do it? It's about this alien guy. Okay, he's from the planet Gygax. And the whole plot is it's this guy who is this bloodthirsty
You said this guy like 3
Yeah.
times
Sorry.
already. Do you want me to talk about it?
intergalactic warmonger, basically.
It's like a Goosebumps movie where
Explain the plot.
what if the kids had control of an ancient demonic alien and made him do cool shit? And that's the movie.
Basically.
That's it.
And
That
the
is
guy is like a Power Rangers villain.
He is.
You know, he doesn't look like a normal guy. He doesn't look like me. and
He
Sam.
should not be the protagonist,
As if we look like
protagonist of
normal
this
guys.
movie. And I think one of my favorite parts about it is that it's just kind of like she even says it. She's like it's evil fighting against worse evil, and she's on evil's
Right.
side.
Yeah.
Or she's on worse evil's side, arguably.
Yeah.
Sounds like the fucking election.
Yeah, I mean,
am
truly.
right?
Truly, it's about this girl that takes control of this being, but she is also like damaged or something. Like she is
She's
some
a fucked
kind
up
of
little girl.
She's fucked up.
Yeah.
So she's on his side.
Funny,
so
though.
it's just the protagonist, like, being the worst wingman ever for this guy to destroy the rest of the galaxy. And she has complete power over him.
It gave me Billy and Mandy, the Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy vibes. Certainly at the start,
For sure.
like evil little girl.
It doesn't
Just
feel like
different.
an
Their person-
adult. It's not an adult
Yeah.
adult movie.
Right.
It's adult enough that like people explode in it, but also
Yeah.
there's never anything that's super. Like I would show this to my 12-year-old.
Yeah.
I guess.
12 years, yeah, good age to see.
Yeah, it's a
Stupid
it's
gore.
silly, stupid.
There's some swearing, but it's not like too
it's never
crazy.
too bad.
It's
And I love the
very
pathetic dad character.
The dad character is
The
pretty
dad
funny.
character was
They
really
really
funny.
play. They really play up. There's this dad character and this mom character, and they like are just a couple that. It seems like they get along fine at the beginning of the movie, but then you find out there's just like marital problems
He's
with them
horribly
throughout
pathetic,
He sucks,
and he leans
but he's
into
fun.
being horribly
Yeah.
pathetic, and that's like his affirmative character traits. So he wants people to say, "Oh, you can just be pathetic."
A lot of the funniest lines in the movie are delivered from him.
Yeah.
Just being this character. Like,
For sure.
Her thinking him as lazy, and him just like,
How dare you say that?
You know I hate that word.
You know I hate being lazy. My mom always called me lazy. My teachers always called me lazy.
Well,
He's like, how dare you call me lazy? That's so rude of you.
I don't like that.
Call it a
I love it.
spade.
That's so funny.
Yeah, that was probably one of my favorite lines of the movie. But I mean,
It surprised me because we were watching a lot of movies on Shudder, and Shudder has a lot of interesting movies, but like for a Shudder movie, it is kind of goofy and silly and different. And when you
it's
say
more
gooey,
serious, or it's more silly than it is serious. Yeah.
for sure. When you said your pick was gooey, I was like, this is gooey enough.
This one's
that we
kind of
can
gooey.
have
There's
a
some gooey
theme.
things going on.
You got some
For
fun villain designs.
The villain designs, the Power Rangers aesthetic, the practical outfits, like the costumes.
The Psycho Goreman himself, he has some very interesting abilities. Like, I don't even know if we really know. He can blow stuff up. He can control stuff with his mind. He can change things into other things, but he can't change them back from
It's
those
almost
other
funny how
things.
vague it is, because the first guy he kills, quote unquote, is the guy that he's like, I'll make you live forever, and his
Yeah.
eyes just turn and turn and turn until he blows him up or whatever.
Yeah.
But until he gets knocked over. But it's so funny. I think part of the humor comes from it's these like Power Ranger
It's how
rules.
over the top the kills
It's so over
are.
top and how whatever.
Gruesome.
But
they
you also
make it.
don't know the specificities. So like these things happen like they would in any other science fiction
And
universe.
you just kind of go with it.
And you have to go with it because you're like, oh, I don't understand. I don't
Yeah.
know what Gygax is. I don't understand what your race does necessarily.
I just want to talk about like the first 20 minutes of this movie for a minute. Because, okay, so the movie starts off and it's this context or exposition dump. It does like a Star Wars thing. So it sounds very serious, but it also looks very B-rated. So, okay, it starts like that. It's a space-type looking movie. But then, as soon as the exposition dump is done...
Crazy Ball!
It's Crazy Ball. It's two kids playing, essentially, dodgeball with some... This movie's metal.
Crazy
this movie's
Balls.
very metal. But it starts off with that metal riff. It's definitely, like, modern day. There's a turtle sandbox, so we're on Earth. And it's that. And it's them being very over the top. That's why I was like, okay, is this a B movie? Because they act kind of like shitty, but then you get like, oh, they're acting like that on purpose. So it's kind of like, oh, it's a funny movie again. And then it cuts again to those people
the Space
at the
Council.
Well, not the Space Council. Even before that, it cuts to the shoe place, and there's like criminals living there.
Yeah.
And the Psycho Gore Man shows up, and he kills them. So then it starts feeling like, oh, this is a little
Right,
more
are these
serious.
kids
serious.
This is a
danger?
horror
and then they're
movie.
going to bed, and it's kind of like they're knocking on the wall.
Right.
And they did the whole
So like,
Disney-
okay, I'm getting prepared for like this horror movie
really
involving Psycho
subverses
Goreman.
you.
And then they are confronted by him within the first 20 minutes of the movie. I'm like, well, how are they going to get away with this? And then it kind of leans into the movie that it is, where she has control of him, and it just goes all over the place.
Yeah.
And it never really stays on one thing for very long.
Sure.
Like for instance, he sees the magazine. The Psycho Goreman sees a magazine.
care for hunky boys.
We're hunky boys. And then he turns and he's like, or do I? And you're like, oh, are they going to do anything more with this? That he has like these homoerotic tendencies.
Well, they do. They bring the
very
magazine
destroy the
back.
hunky boys.
very end. Like, there's nothing else to do with it. So it's just
I love.
all
I
over the
think that's
place.
part of why I wanted this movie to be completely secret because it is like that. It's kind of like if you don't know what this fucking movie is, you don't know what this movie is.
Well, that's why I hadn't even asked what it
was.
was. I was like, I don't think I'm gonna know. Now seeing it, you guys could have told me what it was beforehand, and I would have been like, no fucking clue what this
Like
movie
when we were
is.
getting out of the car at brunch, and Sam was like, "Make sure you hide Psycho Goreman," and I was like, "We're supposed to keep the movies a secret," but
Dude.
it is just such a weird. It's such a niche, but also. It was really popular and like liked when it came out, so I'm glad that.
I've never even heard of it, to be honest, and
it was it was like a Shudder exclusive.
it could turn people off, I think, if they don't give it a real chance. But if you really get it a chance and like lean into what it is, it's hysterical.
It was
and
one of
it's-
those ones everybody told me to watch it. I was the first like 10 minutes in, and I was like, "This is lame.
Yeah.
Like the acting
Yeah,
sucks."
it has that. It could turn you off to it.
But
Yeah.
you like but by the end of it, you're like, "This is so campy that I love the kid acting."
You're
The
just
girl
into
that
it.
plays the girl who controls him, like, is so
she's so much.
campy and a lot.
Yeah, but you
she's
like
so
her.
funny, and she gets the
It's
role.
kind of like what I said about the girl that plays Lucy. Like, you could hate the character Lucy in Fallout, but she's played so well, and I feel the same about this little
they
girl.
picked a
It's like,
great
dude,
person
Luke-
to play the character, or the
Luke
character
and
would
Mimi
translate.
both feel like straight
Luke.
up kids out of
Luke.
a Goosebumps
Yeah.
novel.
Boy,
yeah. Yeah, I mean, every character is kind of like in their own movie. Luke's in his own movie. She's in her own movie. The parents are in their own movie.
For sure.
Psycho Gorman's in his own movie, and they're all just doing their own thing. And
My
it's-
You're gonna
favorite-
tell him not to kill the rest of the world, right? Right?
and they just move past
That's his
it.
goal.
There's so many lines that are just like I'd like to hang out with the people that wrote this script because I feel like they're just funny, interesting people. There's a lot of just the dialogue and things people say that I'm just like, that was a very out there thing to just make, but I dig
There's
it.
a lot
I
of
like
love behind it. Like, you can tell that
Yeah.
they love the genres that they were going for, and the artistry of it is very well done.
I'm thinking of Alistair.
Alistair's my favorite character.
He was a funny kid, and then they changed. So Alistair is this friend of the two characters that you meet near the beginning of the movie, who the girl is like in love with him, and she wants him to love her, but he just wants to.
He's so chill. He's
Yeah.
just kind of like, whatever.
So it's like, I just want to hang out with your brother, and then Psycho Gorman fucking
turns him into a brain creature.
a brain monster.
A brain monster that kind of crawls across the ground. And the scene,
Just a wet
a
looking
wet puppet. I
Yeah.
love wet puppets. That's something that I'm very into. But I love this scene where he is like, I'm afraid I'm gonna be like this forever, and she's like, it's okay,
Dude.
I kind of like it like this.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh,
She kisses. Well,
All
I
right.
didn't even know he could still, because he never talks. Like he
He's like,
gets
hang
turned into the
outside.
brain, and I didn't know if he could speak for the longest time. But then he started talking, and it made me laugh.
Just
the music
general,
video
like-
sequence.
Oh, the music video sequence, so funny.
It really just lends to that general ambiguity of it all. Like, what is his power exactly? What is his backstory? I don't know.
Because
Just
I was like,
fucking
he
go
could
along
probably
with it.
turn
Just
Alistair
roll along
back,
with it.
right? No.
Yeah,
He
assumedly.
never
He
does.
could, but he doesn't.
He
And
does
then
not.
that's
He
the
never does.
funniest part is that, like, they never
move
ask
past
him to.
it. We
They don't
move
care if he
past it.
does.
Yeah.
Mimi doesn't care if he does, the little girl. Like,
Everything happens and just because even the mom and the dad find out about Psycho Gorman, and at first they're terrified of him. He tells them he's gonna kill them, but then in like the next scene during the montage, the mom and the little girl are like at the mall dressed like
dressing him up.
she's a part
Fine.
of it. She's a part of the gang. The dad's just going along with it. Like the ball
They're
like
so-
explodes in his house, and he just screams when he's like,
they're such
is my life.
subservient
It's not like
people.
he
I mean,
loves
the
it.
mom steps up, but they are such, like,
It's kind of like when your
Let it
kids come
happen.
home with a stray animal and you don't really have the ability to tell them to get rid of it because it lives there now and it's already made itself home.
and
Yeah.
it's also maybe powerful, and maybe you're scared of it, and you don't know what it's capable of, and we're not sure what it's capable of.
so we'll just go along with it. And it seems like
Yeah.
our daughter has control of it.
It
so.
seems like she's in charge here.
Sure.
He's
Yeah.
dressed like the guy from Jurassic Park, so.
Oh my god, yeah, the outfits they put him in, so funny. It's just out there.
You
like,
just
why
know
not-
the guy in that suit's a beefcake. You just know he's a
I like his
fucking
voice. That's a
beast.
very. I wonder who. Can you look up who the voice actor for that was?
Absolutely.
He sounded very familiar. There were a lot of voices that I thought sounded familiar to me, but
I don't know if there's a lot of people that I recognize. in
yeah,
this
definitely not
movie.
recognizable cast. But
So-
the mom I kind of recognize. I don't know why, but I feel like I've seen
Psycho
her.
Gorman. So this was made in 2020, so it is 4 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Not old at all.
No.
The guy who plays Psycho Gorman, his name is Matthew Nienaber.
Name doesn't sound familiar.
No, this is like the only thing he's done.
Okay. Wow.
Well, he's done a couple of like smaller things.
His voice sounds familiar.
He's got a very strong voice.
Yeah. Guess you'd have to be to play
This
this
is so.
hulking.
It's just such a strange movie
It's
that
a
happened at such a
gem.
weird time, and
Adam Brooks
We-
played the dad. I just want to
we
like
wanted
give
to
a
bring
shout
it
out
to
to
you.
that guy.
That guy's funny.
The dad in that movie
The
was
dad is
so
hysterical.
funny. He's also like a low budget horror actor. He's in a bunch of different things. Another Wolf Cop, Tapeworm, Chow Boys, and American Folktale, those kind of movies. But how funny.
Oh yeah.
He's incredible.
glad we could get to share that one.
Yeah. So that was just the first thing that popped into my mind when you like pick a random movie that's also like playable to an
was
audience.
instantaneous.
I mean,
Psycho Gorman.
I would have never seen. What I love about this segment is it gives me a chance to see, so, like for instance, Flubber, a movie I haven't seen in a while, or also movies I probably never would have seen anyways. Like if you guys would not have brought that movie, there's no way in hell I would have watched it. Even if I would have seen it, I would have been like, I don't know about this.
Yeah.
Like just like on Netflix scrolling, like okay,
You need someone
Psycho
to be
Gorman.
like, this has something to it that you don't expect it to have.
Even the name Psycho Gorman, like I think even when you told me the title, I started kind of like putting a little bit of a preconceived idea of what that means in my head. But you find out that's not even his name. The kids give him that name, like
Archduke of Nightmare.
Yeah,
He's like,
Archduke of
Archduke of
Nightmare,
Nightmares.
and he just goes with it. And like I knew the whole movie. I was like, when is he gonna accept that when is he gonna call himself Psycho Gorman? And the name, like at the very end when he was like, I'm Psycho Gorman, I was like, hell yeah, hell yeah. There's a lot of setup for things to happen later in this movie, which. Very nice. The pacing's pretty good. I mean, there's a couple lull moments of just like, all right, like some of the fight scenes. I'm like, this could have been cut down a little.
The weird forest fight scene in the middle, where you don't. It's partially funny that you don't know the lore of any of the characters.
Yeah.
Like you're like, these guys come from these ancient 1,000-year-old legacies of ruin or whatever, and the one gets squished under a car tire. And you're like, okay.
I like the little like the back and forth between like. Psycho Gorman tries to explain some background story and lore, and like sometimes you get a long story that is kind of interesting. They use some of their budget toward that.
Yeah.
And then it goes to the kids, and they're just like, we don't give a fuck about what you're saying. They're like coloring, not even paying attention.
The one part, my favorite part of the movie, is when he makes the TV bleed, and the dad goes, "This TV isn't going to stop bleeding." And he's like, "This TV just won't stop bleeding."
It makes it bleed so. That's another thing. Like the TV is bleeding within the first 25 minutes of this movie, and then at the very end, the dad's like,
he's like trying to fix
it.
Practically.
Yeah. It's got a lot of that humor. Just like I don't even know what to call that kind of humor. But I like it.
It's like dry and serious, but it's also ridiculous and absurd.
Yeah.
Absurdist is a good word, I guess. And so is Flubber is also an absurdist kind of.
Yeah, these two movies definitely kind of go together in a weird. I haven't seen Flubber in a long time, but I'm like, this is the more kid friendly of whatever that was.
Yeah,
because there's like a love message in this one.
It's also violence.
There's lots of violence. I mean, during that montage scene. They're just like going out around the town, and he's like, that one kid's like, "Hey, nice suit" or whatever to him, and he just kills him. He just explodes, and the plot moves forward. The cop. Oh my god, that cop character.
The melted face.
There's a cop character that he melts his face, and I thought he was gonna just kill him right there, but then he becomes this like walking zombie melted face cop guy that's part of the gang.
Follows him around for like half the movie.
He's part of the group, just shooting himself. Yeah, the message, like you were saying.
All the letters are supposed to tell me how great I am and how good at everything I am, and
kill me.
Yeah. Written in his blood or something.
Oh my god! And then he does just. I was sad when he's not in the movie super long, but when they get into the forest fight and he kills the cop guy, I was like, oh, I thought he was part of the gang. But it was an easy way to get rid of him in an already ongoing fight scene. Ludicrous. I'd call this movie ludicrous. Stupid funny.
Yeah.
But if you like stupid funny,
for sure,
this is one of those stupid funny ones. A lot of lines. I wish I should have put my notebook out and wrote some of them down, because there was a lot of things that were said that like caught me completely off guard, and I laughed a lot harder than I thought I was gonna.
Oh, my hand. Oh, Susan, my hand.
The dad tries to dig up the hole at one point, and he can't even dig one little piece of dirt, and his hand immediately hurts. So he's just like, oh, I need help.
It's just
the mom is
the mom
doing too much.
Transforms into like that battle angel creature, the fucking sentinel or whatever.
Yeah.
And, like, then they transform her back, and she's like, oh honey, you're gonna have to take me to the hospital.
Yeah.
It's like, who knows what she just went through.
But he does have like a spike going through
honey,
his hand.
I need you to take me to the hospital. Oh, Luke, can you drive?
Luke, can you drive?
The argument of morality in this movie, and it is kind of like the people who are going against Psycho Gorman, you're not quite sure what they're like he is this he's going around killing everybody, right?
Fascist.
So it's like, he's a fascist. He's a fascist. Yes, thank you.
Wow.
And yeah, the people who are going up against him are this like Republic of Defenders or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, they're essentially the good guys.
They're
the universe's good guys, but they're not our good guys.
But they also take control of
win.
people, like they take control of like the mother.
Yeah, I mean the girl that the one like they steal a human and she takes her face basically.
Yeah,
becomes
so it is. They are very much framed like the bad guys, while the bad guys are also the bad guys, which is why the worse and worse is
Yeah. Do you think there's a message to this
The
movie?
gray morality.
You think this movie has
no,
a message?
absolutely not.
Yeah. Wasn't sure.
Vote Republican in November.
No, absolutely not. That is not the message.
And that's not our message here,
No,
nor is it not our message
that
here.
was never the message.
You don't. When it comes to nerd shit in the dark, whatever
Disclaimer,
party you're
disclaimer.
part
I'm on
of
Psycho Gourmand's
is
side,
the right
so...
I'm on PG's party.
PG's party. Psycho
Wait,
Gourmand.
did we agree that was the fascist party? Wait, hold on.
Shit.
Can we cut that? Cut that?
We can
Cut that?
Yeah.
We're gonna cut all of that.
I'm not cutting any of it.
Okay.
The more equipment I get for the show, the less editing I do. So
Well, if you endorse fascism, you might get more equipment. So you never know. Cut that
or don't.
or don't
Yeah.
endorse or cut. We're not sure.
We're not sure.
Don't do it.
Or maybe I will. Who's
I'm
to
excited
say?
to watch Flubber.
I'm excited.
Speaking
to
of
watch Flubber
fascism
as well. Yeah,
me too.
Well, my brain, like I said, those couple of things I have in my
You
head.
have that little small chunk, but my God,
Yeah.
you are not
I have
ready.
the VHS box cover in my head. That's it. That's all I got. Robin Williams smiling on a fucking Flubber. The green. I'm excited. So, yeah. That's our Psycho Gourmand coverage. It sounds a bit all over the place, but the movie's a bit all over the place.
Yes.
So,
Heavily recommend though.
Just check it out.
Smoke a J and check
Smoke
it out.
a J and
It's on
check
Shudder.
it. Yeah, this
Time
is
to-
definitely a
time to
Smoke
get
a J
green.
and
Get
watch, but it is time to get green. So,
Hell yeah.
we're going to jump off, and we'll be back as soon as Flubber's done. So, catch us later.
Are we gonna smoke another bowl or what?
Right, let's try and describe you. You're an elastomer. Yes, you're highly viscous, but yet you can phase shift. Let's see. You're moldable. It's a little ticklish. Oh. You're foldable. You're gullible. Oh, right. Let's see. Oh, wait a minute. Okay. And... Oh, you're ductile. You're elastic. Let's just see how elastic you are.
Okay, we just wrapped up Flubber. Flubber. Oh man.
What did you think, Chase?
What did I think?
Oh, I was
Okay.
way more awake for this one.
You were.
I think we all were kind of. So Flubber. I really wish I did like this movie a lot more because I remembered it as a movie that I had liked from when I was a
You
kid.
remember
When I
the
saw it.
trailer?
Like vaguely. This movie came out when I was 5, so like I don't remember the trailer.
Yeah.
But I also kind of do because like it was misled. It was advertised as, but you didn't notice that as a kid. But like in the advertisement, it showed so much more of the green
The
Flubber.
Flubber.
It was
Right,
all
the
the
Flubber
scenes.
dance.
And
all the
they're-
Flubber dances for like the
they're
end
barely
of
in
the
the
movie.
movie. They're
Right.
barely in the movie, and
It's more of a love story.
there's a lot more going on around the Flubber. But I mean, it is a bad movie. It is a bad movie. It is not good.
There's no direction.
There's no direction.
There's no concrete.
There is a story that is happening.
It starts bad.
It starts bad
Leads off
and gets
bad.
worse.
And it never. It's about this guy's relationship with his wife, and apparently he stood her up at the altar 3 times, and we never get a sense of him and his wife. So it leads you off just being like, he's a bad husband. They're in a bad relationship. They should probably not be in a relationship. But the whole movie, you're led to root for this guy to appear at his next scheduled wedding.
Right.
It's so.
But you shouldn't be rooting
No.
for him. But the movie kind of still wants you to.
It wants you to so bad.
Like, you should think she sucks for
I
not
love Robin Williams as an
waiting
actor.
for Robin Williams.
Robin Williams
But I
is
think
awesome.
in a lot of his movies, he has this problem where he is playing the most unlikable protagonists.
Yeah.
And just
They try
like,
to reach the most likable guy for the most unlikable
He's
written
got
character.
Here's what I think about that is I think Robin Williams has very easy to love eyes. Like a nice guy eyes, lovable eyes.
Very kind of.
But it's on and that's the only reason you can even vaguely tell yourself that these characters are good guys. Because they do suck. He
On
straight
paper, this
up
had to have been a
sucks.
nightmare to
And-
look at.
I mean, yeah, like nobody in the room asked like, and why are we rooting for this guy? Why are we rooting for what's his name? Philip
he's just
Brainer?
the most
Philip Braden.
forgetful dude. Like,
yeah, more like
He
Philip
doesn't-
No Brainer.
At the end, he gets married to this girl that we're meant to root for him to get married to over a call because he's too busy doing a science experiment.
Yeah.
With
Spoiler
his-
to the end. He
his
gets the
new
girl,
robot.
but
The
it's
beginning
like
of the movie where he doesn't show up to the end of the movie where he's
still not showing up.
Still not
He's
showing
learned
up.
nothing.
Right. But don't forget that he's being represented there by his new robot daughter, who is the love child of him and his previous robot creation, who definitely had a crush on him.
My God.
And made like some weird human Sona that she could program a baby
She made a
with.
human Sona also.
She did. She made a human Sona
was
that she could
gross.
project herself onto,
Yeah.
literally.
And the
Yeah,
wife
yeah.
was fine. The wife was
I understand
Yeah,
your
I'll
robot had
raise this
complicated
robot,
emotions
it is
for
our
you.
own.
A
Ooh.
lot of stuff happening with Flubber.
There was a lot going on, and like it's hard to tell what the
college
main
plot, the whole,
line.
like-
So the college plot line, I think, is supposed to be the main plot line. He's making
Well, that's what it
Flubber
starts
to
with.
save the college.
The newspaper tells you,
but it's
right,
so like not
college is
prominent.
shutting down.
it goes from the college to his relationship prominently. It all has to do with Flubber. The Flubber is used to be the thing that pushes the whole college plot, but then they get rid of the college plot because you
But
just
the
want him
Flubber
to
is
get
more
married
important
at
than
some
his
point.
marriage.
The
so
Flubber's
that's
gonna
why he's
But the
also
Flubber's
get
also
the
more
Flubber's
important.
also gonna get his wedding back.
It doesn't make any goddamn sense.
we're just sounding like crazy people talking about it.
the
but it,
Flubber is the MacGuffin.
movie
here,
is Flubber.
all
The
right?
Flubber is the MacGuffin.
The Flubber
but
was
the Flubber
just
is
in
a
the trailer.
character?
You're gonna see the Flubber for 2 fucking minutes, and the rest of it is a very convoluted love triangle.
Flubber is involved, but not as the green Flubber creature. Like
No.
it becomes a spray, and every once in a while
It's a
the
hair
main Flubber
cream.
comes out. And you could
How
say
many different
budget-wise.
consistencies of
Budget-wise.
Flubber are there, by the way?
Lots of different.
The budget
consistencies.
was very
there's a
loosey-goosey.
gel-like substance. There's a spray bottle that he uses to put the Flubber on things, including his own ass.
There's the oh man, the ass jokes in this movie. There were at least 3 that I caught ass jokes in this movie without saying just a butt doing something funny. 97 Disney film. Because one of them was we might as well just go into it. One of them was when the Flubber first got released at the beginning of the movie and it like went through the city or the town. It went on some fat lady's ass. It became like and then it
like
shot off
turned
to
into a
somebody
big
else.
like ass.
A big ass.
The Flubber turned into a big floating ass.
So that was one of them.
Because that's the thing Flubber can do. It doesn't just bounce; it floats for some reason.
Yeah.
Flubber has no rules and laws.
Flubber makes you bounce. Flubber's kind of like Psycho Gar. What's his
You
name?
have to
Psycho
accept it
Gorman?
for what it
Yes,
is.
there are abilities and it's whatever. We're not going to tell you
But-
exactly what they all are, so you accept everything it can do.
I want to say that at least Psycho Gorman, I don't think Psycho Gorman set you up to already know any rules about anything. Like, I think that part of its charm was, oh, you don't know anything about this. And I think that Flubber's detriment was, you don't know
I don't know anything
about
about
this.
Really?
What is this supposed to be doing for me? Like, what is this?
What does
What is
Flubber
this
do?
giving
You
to
turn
the
it hot,
plot?
you turn it cold.
Because with Psycho Gorman, it was like, oh, that drives the story. Well, Flubber doesn't do a damn thing for anybody.
Flubber is used.
It's used.
It's really-
and scenes that don't
It's an
matter until
element
the
of
end.
chaos, is what it is.
It is an element of chaos, and I don't think that.
And like, here's the thing also about Flubber. Sorry guys, we're everywhere with this one. But the thing about Flubber is like, okay, so if you have Flubber, like say he sprays it on his hands, when he punches that guy, it makes that guy's head bounce. So it doesn't hurt that guy. But also, if you have Flubber on, so Flubber, if you're wearing it, it doesn't hurt you if you're punching somebody with the Flubber.
It's about the energy distribution of it. It's
But if
like-
somebody hits you while you have Flubber on, there's a part where a guy hits Robin Williams in the face, and he bounces back, and Robin Williams not phased.
the,
So I'm
the
just like-
energy transference here is not
It's
equal.
whatever they want
Whatever.
it to be. So I guess maybe okay. So
where
Flubber
is
is
it
also
coming
represented
from?
as this scientific achievement. So maybe it's so advanced science that we don't get it, and that's the big deal. And that's why this guy makes enough money to save a school from it.
Does he?
ramblings
That
of
was
a
the end.
madman.
He did make enough money, right? I was so not ready by the end of it. Like,
The
did they save the school?
rambling. Yes, he
saves the school.
He did
He saves
because
the school, yeah.
he sold
He sold
the flying car to Ford.
design.
Yeah,
If you put
Oh yeah, and it
Flubber
eventually
on a
becomes
car,
a flying
it'll
car.
fly.
That's the pinnacle. That's where they get to.
it's a nuclear reactive
never a-
energy source. So
What's the longitude? They don't
Once again,
have that
relevant.
tested. That is not tested. What's the longitude of that? Like, how long can that Flubber sustain? We don't know. The flying car
Flubber
can fly
apparently
out
does
of the
not
air.
burn out.
You don't
so-
know that though. Like, you never.
I mean, I don't know.
No one's ever
I don't know
tested it
anything
to
about
find
Flubber.
out if it can last forever. So how do you know when to recharge your Flubber? I think it's reckless.
I agree. I mean, it's a source of chaos throughout the
It's
movie.
like a Cybertruck.
once again, people.
Wait, so is Flubber an allegory then for nuclear fission?
No.
Because, it's an untested source of energy that you could potentially have limitless,
That's
uses,
the
but
idea.
I mean,
I think. I mean, that's
and
the
it's
thing.
green like radiation. So,
But the thing is that I don't know why I should like Flubber so much. The movie really
'Cause
wants
it's
me to
goofy
accept
and-
it as this thing that will save the school, will make a lot of money, but I don't really understand why. And the movie doesn't care for me to know that either.
Okay, so who would win in a fight, Psycho Gorman or Flubber?
whoa.
Okay.
Smash Brothers multiverse.
It depends, man. It just depends.
Crack battle.
It depends what form of Flubber is being used. What, is Psycho Gorman fighting the green flubbery guy, or is he fighting somebody maybe wrapped in a flubber shield? Because my money's on the person wrapped in the flubber shield. Because all I've ever seen it do is save the person that it is wearing.
It bounces back.
So,
Like one time you've seen it.
there were three. There were like the ass
Three
jokes.
very
I
distinct
gotta get the other two ass jokes. So the second two ass jokes, they happen left and right. It was the scene where Robin Williams, he had sprayed some of it on his ass.
Well, and before that, he falls out of the window early on in the film.
yes,
He tries to prove that,
but is that
Flubber-
an ass joke? He lands on his
Well,
ass.
he sticks the
Specifically.
flubber in his back pocket, and you see the big lump of flubber on his ass.
Okay, so maybe
I
four
think
ass
that
jokes.
counts. Maybe.
Or okay, yeah. So, but there's the one where he jumps up and I can't even remember what happens. The one grunt throws something at him and it ricochets it off his ass.
The ashtray bounces off his ass.
It's an ashtray and it bounces
Ashtray.
back, knocks back. You and I shared a look in that moment because it was so fucking ridiculous. And then after that, the most horrifying scene, probably in both movies we've watched today, is at the very end when Shooter McGavin gets fucking Flubber goes literally inside of him, and it's just a scene of this guy. And it's Disney, it's been Flubber the whole movie, it's supposed to be funny. This movie, we laughed a lot, but this movie, do not get me wrong, is not funny. There's not a single joke in this movie that
There's
lands.
no
I never
proof that
legitimately,
Shooter.
laughed.
There's
There-
no proof that Shooter McGavin is still alive after Flubber works his way through his
Flubber
guts.
works his way through this guy's body. You're seeing him like,
and it just shoots.
and it just shoots out of his ass. He just shoots a
like a pop gun,
like a cannon pop gun out of his ass, and he drops.
He drops face
Maybe
first onto
dead,
the floor,
probably
motionless.
not dead, but I don't know. But that was an ass joke, so that was weird. So Flubber can also do whatever the fuck that all was. Yeah, fucking weird movie. Really weird movie. Better in my memory, but also I remembered it wrong. I thought that he married the fucking robot. No, he gets his wife back, who let's just say, dumbest woman on the face of the earth.
Yeah.
Why would you take this guy back?
There was
He
no.
fucking
You want some of that good
The
good
beginning
Flubber
and the
money.
end of the movie
Yeah.
were the same.
Yeah.
They just
At the
were-
beginning of the movie, he misses his wedding to make Flubber, and then at the end of the movie,
He misses his wedding
to still be doing
And
science.
he
Zoom
is
call
video
his
chatting.
wife. He's
But he's
Zoom
on a
calling
video call.
wedding his.
But he's still not at his wedding. And it's just fuck this guy.
Can't you just do it
He
tomorrow
is
when you
awful.
don't have to do this, so you can Zoom call? So you don't have to Zoom call.
How
your
about
wedding?
just go to your fucking wedding, dude?
Go to your wedding?
Go to your wedding.
Why is that not the next thing?
Ugh.
you're doing? I don't.
Oh my god. Yeah. So there's a robot. He has, what's the name? Meepo?
Weebo.
Weebo.
Weebo?
Weebo. It is Weebo. So Weebo is his robot droid that he made, and
She's like his personal
she
assistant.
is certainly the second main character in
She's
the movie.
doing a lot of
She's the
reaction
love
gifs
interest.
throughout this movie.
It goes Robin Williams' character, Weebo, Sarah, who is his actual gonna-be wife, and then maybe Flubber after
Weebo
that
acts as a
main
love
characters.
interest, even though it's he's set up to marry the wife at the beginning and at the end.
Yeah.
Weebo is a unrequited love interest.
Yeah, who dies. But that's what so a guy literally, so the whole movie, you get to know Weebo way more than you get to know Sarah. And these people come, invade his house to try to steal Flubber.
Also, the robot is pregnant.
And we don't know that yet. And
How is she pregnant? Wait, I
this
forgot that
guy
part.
beats the robot droid friend to death, kills it. Robin Williams, this is really, it's honestly a sad,
No.
that was a sad scene, the death scene. As sad as it could be for this
Yes.
movie. Yeah. And then he finds a file. The last word this robot says to him is stork, so he goes to his computer, which is a Windows 97 fucking thing. And she left him a message, a video message.
Human message.
Human message. Her soul is this blonde chick. And she's like, yeah, you only get to see this if I die. I actually put my code into this, and I mixed it with some of your qualities. So this is my daughter.
This is your
robot
non-consensual daughter that
yep.
I've done myself, but it's yours.
And I want you to love it. And
Again, we're not making any of this up.
Dude, I like
this is
You don't remember
This
Flubber.
is the plot of
You don't
Flubber.
remember
Flubber.
You don't remember
Quite
Flubber
right.
until you watch it again. Yeah.
I just
Totally.
remember all the trailer scenes because it was like the 2 minutes of the movie.
Yeah.
The green thing was in the movie. That's
Yeah.
all I
The
remember.
green thing's on the cover. I mean, and they used Flubber.
I
But
felt like this guy was everywhere growing up. You know what I mean?
He was
Sure.
everywhere. It invaded my memory like like Glenn Close's.
he's
Cruella
everywhere,
de
but
Vil.
in his own movie.
I just remembered the trailer so fucking much.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
rest of the movie, no way.
No good characters.
No
No
good-
likable characters.
movie.
Does anybody have their phone?
Yeah.
Just out of curiosity, I want to know the Rotten Tomatoes score for this
Okay.
movie because it was not good, and that sucks because before today I remembered it as a movie I liked. Now today I'm like, oh yeah, no, Flubber is all around just not really entertaining.
Crazy film.
the Rotten
It's
Tomatoes.
wacky. There's some wackiness. It's
The
not
Rotten
fun.
Tomatoes score is 23%.
That sounds fitting. I'm glad I waited to check
Audience
that.
score is 33%.
So nobody
Whole
likes this movie.
10%.
But I remembered liking it until I saw it again, and it was so fucking bad.
That's why.
I mean, also another thing about
This
the
is a
Flubber.
reboot, by the way. Somebody said
What?
Flubber, I think, was a property before the movie.
Shut the fuck up.
Wait, no, it's a
think that is
remake of
true.
1961's The Absent-Minded Professor. It's like Doctor, or not Doctor Dolittle, The Nutty Professor used to
Yeah.
be like a 60s movie, and it's completely different.
Oh
So
my
did Dr.
fucking
Dolittle.
god.
And Dr.
I
Dolittle.
will have to watch the old Flubber
Yeah,
movie.
kind of want to
Little
watch the
interesting.
actual
What is the score on the original Flubber?
The
Can we find that?
Absent-Minded.
Is that a possible thing?
The Absent-Minded
Live on the
Professor.
show. That tomatoes are
1961 film,
Mm-hmm.
You scroll past it. It's up here.
83%. 5 out of 5.
Wow, that's way
Oh, shit,
better.
we have to watch this.
We
6.7
do. We
out of 10.
absolutely do. That's
Son-
IMDb.
And then there was a Son of Flubber.
This is Flubber.
Based off of the Absent-Minded Professor, there was a sequel called Son of Flubber.
Flubber.
There's a multiverse of Flubber.
Son
Like
of
original
Flubber should
Disney.
marry daughter of Weebo. They should hook up.
There is a double featured Disney 2-pack of the Absent-Minded Professor and Son of Flubber.
Oh my fucking
Look
god.
at that.
Let me get a look at that.
I
He's
didn't know there was so
flying.
much lore.
I didn't either. I thought it was just that. Well,
The things we learn.
guys.
I
we,
learned something new today. Kind of want to watch that just to
Boy,
know it's
we got
better.
ourselves
It's
a
probably
movie
better.
to
Yeah, I
watch,
think we got
yeah.
ourselves
Seems
another
like it's better.
I think we got another future episode where we just tackle
Flubberverse.
The
Flubber.
reunion Flubberverse
Oh
episode.
man! And apparently it's a lot better. Here's the thing: even though that movie sucked, I'm willing to see the same idea but done better.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's
watch
all I
the
thought
orig.
about the Nutty Professor.
Yeah.
I liked the original Nutty Professor a lot.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Flubber.
Interesting pick. I really
Yeah.
enjoyed
Thanks.
seeing it again to like solidify my feelings about it. Too.
Yeah. Mine are now. It's definitely just like just a
It's
movie that
weird.
happened.
Yeah.
It's just kind of a lot happening.
It was
the
a
whole
pop
time.
culture
The whole
moment.
time. It's never stopping, but you don't care. Like,
Watch them remake it.
well, I mean, that is a remake, so they
Watch them remake it again.
dude, worth
With Ryan
another
Reynolds.
fucking shot.
Ryan Reynolds will be the
Get a better character.
Professor.
He's the
dude.
flubber.
Make a better, likable character. That's all you need out of
make
Robin
a guy who
Williams'
actually wants
character.
to get married to his fiance.
Sure. I don't know. Fuck
And
that.
maybe not a robot character.
Nothing makes sense.
That's also.
There's a lot of scenes in this movie too. Let's talk about the CGI just for a second.
Oh, can't we? Basketball CGI?
Not good.
Car
Not good.
CGI.
Why do they choose when they
depended
choose to
on-
make it a real basketball and when they choose to make it a CGI basketball is
Yeah.
very, very strange to me.
the fake dribbling?
Very, very
When
strange
people would
to
just
me
kind
when
of be
they-
going like this, and the ball would just kind of
Right,
be doing
right, right.
whatever.
Yeah,
They're
that's
just
what I'm
kinda
thinking, like
I'm
the
dribbling a really
actors.
fast basketball right now.
Well, they wouldn't move their hand at all. It would just be,
They wouldn't have
there's
to,
a
but some
scene
people were
where-
like,
There's a scene where Robin
because
Williams
he
is like,
high-fived them with the flubber on his hands,
Yeah.
obviously, in which case their hand should have bounced way, way back and smacked the guy behind them. He also did like a crazy like double bitch slap on these guys when he clapped.
"Yep." There's a scene where Robin Williams.
I'm sorry.
He's like testing the flubber and he's like juggling it,
Yeah.
and you can tell so like they just
He's just
edited the
goofing off.
flubber in, and
The
it's just
sound
him.
stage of it all.
they just let him
is
do whatever,
very-
and they're like,
and
we'll
they just edited
animate it around
him.
you.
Yeah, Which the best way to do it, but it looked
You
really
can just
campy.
tell it. You can just tell
Yeah.
that's what it is, though. When Robin Williams is in a movie, you can tell
They
that he's
were
just
working
doing
with
it.
what they had.
The
They were
droid-
working with him.
The droid looked relatively good. I thought the droid CGI anytime it was on the screen was pretty
It looked
decent.
like the highest quality Disney Channel movie.
Yeah, you did say. Yeah,
production.
definitely got to drop that.
Which isn't bad.
Yeah.
Like, that, it didn't look bad for
You
1997.
did say at the in the
It looks
middle
like
of the movie.
2005 Disney Channel animation, which
Sure.
is good.
Just get like, I don't know, different characters, like more kid characters as the main
There were
characters.
no kid
and it is a
characters.
Disney Channel original movie.
There were no children.
Not a kid in this whole film.
I think that was a detriment, too.
How am I,
College
as a
kids,
child
but yeah.
watching this film, supposed to relate?
No
Connect.
animals that weren't
You connect
the
to the Flubber, I guess.
There were no animals and no children.
I guess.
Was there no animals?
He didn't have a pet. did he?
No, I mean, I don't think
There
so.
was a cat and a dog that reacted to the flubber.
Oh
in
right,
an
right,
early
right,
scene.
right, right.
In
Yeah,
one
when that
scene.
Flubber like at the beginning,
The cat
went
like
around
pawed
town.
at it.
Yeah,
But
the
there was
Flubber can
no-
also is a great artist. I forgot about it. That power, it drew the Mona Lisa.
It did.
Yeah.
It wasn't important, but it did.
I mean, it can do that. So it's endless.
Kind of omniscient,
Yeah,
omnipotent,
yeah,
kind of all of the above.
yes.
that means it knows everything. I don't think it knows everything.
It knows some stuff. It can like kind of talk.
It's weird.
For the titular character, I know next to nothing about
Do you
Flubber.
guys think we're beating a dead horse here? Do you think we're like over analyzing?
I don't think
a film
people-
that
No.
was never
People
meant to
haven't
be?
shit on this movie enough because I would never have
Probably.
rewatched it
Yeah.
a year ago if I had known.
I think it makes
that
us
it was.
unique because I doubt there's a whole lot of people analyzing
They're not
Flubber.
covering Flubber in
They're
this
not
day and
covering
age.
Flubber, but we are. We're in Nerd Shit in the Dark. We certainly are, and it was pretty nerdy. I mean, it starts the captions at the beginning or whatever, the theme
A lot
song.
of sine waves.
They showed a lot of
E
math.
equals MC
There's a lot of
squared.
We had a
math.
conversation about math.
Different elements.
Dude.
It was some real nerd shit in the dark.
Yeah, this movie was on some math already.
It was on some math.
Did
yeah,
you
the
feel
people-
in the dark watching this? Like you were like, oh shit.
I felt
don't
like
know
I
what's-
was living in the dark about
Yeah.
it because the whole time I was watching the movie, I was like, "When does it get good?" And then there's the part you were like, "We're in the third act," and I was like, "We're in the third fucking act, dude." The basketball
were, I
scene just
think.
comes out of nowhere too. It's overstays its welcome.
Did you notice they had a
You,
center
you know
of the
they didn't have an
film.
idea
They had a
for
whole
this movie.
separate credit for the basketball sequence like thrown in there. It was like basketball sequence, brought to you by blah blah blah.
Yeah,
They had to
Like the
film that
special
separately.
effects
Like,
studio
they
was
had
like
to-
a whole separate like.
It was too much. They were doing too much.
yeah. Yeah.
But yeah.
They were doing too much with something they didn't have anything with. Like, you know what I mean? They didn't have any. There was nothing to
It
this
was kinda
movie.
like three
solid
half-baked
structure
movies.
that would make a
Yeah.
good movie.
Put into one.
Yeah. Fuck.
So that's Flubber.
So that's
That's
Flubber.
Flubber.
That's 1997's Flubber. Starring Robin Williams,
Chase's pick.
Shooter McGavin. It was my pick. And sometimes, this became more shit talk segment than it was in the
That
dark.
could be more fun though.
Yeah. Because fuck.
I like watching a movie that I can shit on.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that it is just as fun. Well, that's a movie. Okay, so I thought that PG was a movie that should have been a lot worse than it was, right? But it was actually a really good movie. And this movie should have been a lot better than it was. Like, it had more going for it, and it was a shittier movie.
It has such
for
a
it.
weight in people's memory that
I just
You
remembered
grew
it
up
as a
in the
good movie.
90s, it does.
and like the trailer played on every other video that I owned, and it was just so present at that time.
Yeah. The green, all of it.
That-
So, Let Down, Flubber.
That was
but
fun.
You
Little
check it
revert-
out if you just want to have a interesting
Hang out
discussion
with your
your friends.
bros.
Yeah, and just talk about it. It was fun to rip on. We said a lot of funny shit while we watched
green.
it.
Just realize how
green.
bad.
Get green.
Like, just experience how bad it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Chase wanted me to kind of flip the the disappointment of Flubber.
Sure, yeah.
Not that it was disappointing. I actually had a really great
It
time.
was a fun
watching
day
it.
regardless.
I had a great time with
You
all of
stayed
it.
awake for that.
All of it.
Yeah.
Chase wanted me to tell the story about when we finally watched Return of the King. This was a while ago now. I'm kind of rehashing an old tale.
That's okay. That's sometimes tales are best told that way.
So if I don't think we covered this the last time we were on, but it was always a running joke kind of between us that
The thing about Spooky Sam, everyone,
Spooky Sleepy Sam.
he reeks. Since I've known him, since the day I met this boy.
Well, don't just say I read.
Which is two things. I'll get to what he reeks. He fucking stinks. No.
Stinky Sam.
Stinky
Stinky
Sam.
Sam.
So he always rubbed me. We met in 2000 and like.
Don't say I rubbed you either.
We met in like 2009, so the Lord of the Ring movies were already out, and everything about Sam reeked of somebody who had seen the Lord of the Rings.
Aw.
And
I was a nerdy child.
I found out like 10 years into our friendship later that Sam, because if you know Sam, he likes everything that Lord of the Rings has influenced. And I found out he'd never seen them, and it blew my fucking mind. And so
it had become Chase's ultimate, conquest to show me all 3 Lord of the Ring movies, and we did, and we started off with the first one. Yeah. Are you waiting on me to?
No. Just get closer to the mic if you
I'm
go
sorry.
down to that.
I'm
level.
sorry. The Fellowship of the Ring, and of course, we got to start off with the extended cut, which, if you know
That
me,
was a strong. Yeah, that was a bad call
I have
on
a
my
hard
part.
time sitting in one place for more than an hour.
Yeah.
But it's a great film.
We
Great
watched
film.
it.
yeah.
If I could go back in time, I'd have us watch not the extended.
A real
edition.
kickstart to the adventure.
great movie. It's a great
and I think we put probably how many months in between the first and second movie? Like, it was a significant deal of time.
It was a junk. It wasn't as long as
Before we
between the
watched.
second and third, though. I think it was only like 4 or 5 months
Yeah.
later. that
Twin
we watched
Towers,
The second one. 2 Towers.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I know what I said.
The Twin Towers.
Yeah.
But a lot more going on.
Yeah, you really.
There.
So like you
You
watched
got a
the
lot
first
more
one.
going on in
You
the
were
second
like,
movie.
oh yeah, that was a fine movie. You really got into it after the 2 Towers, though. You were
Yeah.
pretty. You were pretty caught.
Well, that's
Would
when
you
the most.
say?
I would say that's when the most development starts to happen.
Yeah.
As far as we're proceeding in the story.
That's when
we're
I knew I
splitting the
kind of had
party,
you. Yeah.
And so then we probably wait another, I don't know, couple months. Not
It
too
might have been
long.
a year. There was
It
a
was like a-
long
well,
time between
it
2
was
and
like-
3.
It was longer.
It was a because we tried
Like,
to.
when are we gonna do
We
this?
tried to rent out a theater. My goal was to rent out a theater so Sam could
We
see it in
asked about
theaters, and we
that,
asked
and they were
around.
like, "No."
We could not make it happen, so we finally just decided to set up our own theater at my house. And Sam,
great.
And that's the only way you could do it in the
yeah,
end, really.
I would not change that day for anything,
And we
even to
did
see it
it.
in a theater. So fun.
So to preface this,
Mm-hmm.
we had taken. I don't remember what point in the movie exactly it was.
I
but
had scheduled out when.
Chase had planned it to be the perfect point where we would all take a little piece of chocolate, and it was. I don't even remember, like 100.
It was 100
milligram Delta 8
Yes,
chocolate
Delta 8
bar.
got me.
So that's
A piece.
pretty significant,
It was pretty
even
strong.
if you're a regular
I wanted Sam to have a good
of
time.
the stuff.
And I know he's a heavyweight.
we're getting to the point in the movie where the fires are getting lit, and the battles.
beacons.
Yeah, the beacons are lit. Gondor requests aid.
And Rohan shall answer. Go on.
I don't know. I mean, there must have been a stretch of this film where my heartbeat was elevated
Oh, yeah.
for about 10 to 12 or
Your Fitbit
20
informed
minutes.
you.
My Apple Watch did. Tell me. And this was right after the climax
Like the
of the
big
film.
battle, yeah.
Fucking, Mount Doom just fucking erupted.
Yeah.
And everything. They're
Everything
laying on the
just
side of the
happened.
mountain looking at each
Frodo
other.
put the
and
fucking ring on, and Smeagol had to get it.
no!
Oh, dude. When Sam Atwell saw Frodo Baggins put the ring on at the very end of Return of the King and say, "The ring is mine," to Sam, I literally heard this man go, "Nuh-uh." And I turn around and Sam has got his hands over his head. He is pushed back into my couch and his mouth is a gasp. And it was awesome.
And yeah, his thing beeped.
Yeah, and his Fitbit told him.
My Apple Watch
exactly
told me
did
to
it
say,
say?
hey, your heart rate is really high.
Yeah, it's like it's been over this many
It's
beats.
been at like 120 beats per minute for the past 12 minutes.
What the fuck are you doing, man?
We should have given spoilers for Return of the King.
Oh, yeah, sure. But I don't
it's
know
a
how I
20-year-old
went that
movie.
long without, knowing
right,
that. but
right.
Somehow I did.
You
and,
really enjoyed it,
It all
though.
paid
It was
off for me.
It paid off strongly.
That was
So
awesome.
you got the long, winding come down after that. And,
Yeah, yeah.
I was high the rest of the night.
I knew just
no
when to
doubt.
give you the... And that's the thing. It all took place the way I said. We took the edible when the beacons were lit, and I knew with these edibles, just, an edible takes about an hour to kick in. I knew that by the time the Rohirrim showed up, that they would be kicking in, and that's exactly when it did, and I was so stoked, because what a great scene to just...
You timed it out.
Getting high, too, yeah. We were all just,
Top
I've
3
seen it's my favorite movie.
watches.
I've seen it a million times. That is one of my definitely top 3 most fun times I've had watching that movie. We had a blast.
I'm glad I
Sam.
could give you a great
And
viewing
you had a blast, and
experience.
nothing made me
Oh, I always
happier.
do.
Couple days later, also let's add this. This is Sam Atwell. He's never seen these movies. He's a guy who should have seen these
Just
movies.
to rehash it.
He just watched Return of the King, and he was going to play Dungeons and Dragons
Later that night.
Just later that night. Could you imagine that experience for this man that just saw the most fucking fantasy shit that's ever been put to film before he goes and plays fantasy? Beautiful. It's beautiful. And
Well.
he texted me a few days later. That was one of my favorite moments. It was a few days later. I was picking up some food, and he texted me thanking me for how much he enjoyed the Return of the King. And I was
What a
like,
day for you.
I know, man. It was fucking awesome.
So nobody
liked
can
it.
make fun of me anymore for not
Right.
having seen The Hobbit.
But you're
Those
happy you
movies suck.
But you're happy for seeing it. You really did.
Of course.
Love that movie.
It's a cultural,
Has your life changed since you've seen The Lord of the Rings?
Has it changed?
Has your life
I don't
changed
know.
at all since popping the old Lord of the Rings cherry?
Many people want to know, do you wear wigs?
When will you vet me?
Have you worn wigs? Then will you wear wigs?
What is that from?
Lord of the Rings interview.
Yeah. Okay.
With Elijah Wood.
Okay. I was like, that sounds relatively familiar.
He just starts laughing. He's just like, what the fuck is happening?
Yeah, you get some stuff. I remember when we watched the first one, you were like, that's a meme. Like, because you had experienced Lord of the Rings through memes before you'd
Pretty
seen
much.
it.
I mean, right? You just don't realize how much of it you do absorb.
That's how I
through, like,
experienced, oh god, several shows we've watched, I guess.
Breaking Bad.
Breaking Bad was one of them that I was like, that's a meme.
Yeah, oh yeah, totally. I mean, yeah. As
How we
time goes
communicate
on.
with each other now.
Yeah. But I think those memes open up a little more for you now since you've seen the movies that they're behind as well. So, yeah, I was so glad you enjoyed it, and yeah,
Pour one out for Aragorn, man.
thank you. Thank you. Aragorn's the man, dude. Ugh.
Pour one out.
He's still alive, though.
Some people on TikTok are shifting to marry him right now.
Yeah.
Like in reality and stuff.
Yeah.
There's a thing.
You know, Mortensen might still have it. I don't know. But yeah, thank you, Sam. Thank you for sharing your Lord of the Rings feelings. I've been wanting to ask you about that on the show for a long time.
Of course. And thank you for, hosting us.
Yeah, this has been
Yeah,
great.
thanks for inviting
Yeah,
me.
so this has been Nerd Shit in the Dark, everybody. Because we're all out of things to talk about, and I think that was a very positive thing to end it on. Yeah, so Spooky Sam,
Hey.
Killer Kai, thanks for being on the show again and filling in for Braden. It's
Anytime. Wait, can I do my
makes-
Braden impression?
please.
Oh gosh, guys. Thanks for coming on the show.
Keep going.
And I give him that with all the love in my heart.
That's
I
beautiful.
just don't know what I do without you.
Yeah, I can make him say anything I want.
Make him say something. One more thing. One more thing
Make him
before
say
we go.
You guys want to make out sloppy style?
Do you want to do an outro with me as Braden as if he were here for the show?
Yeah, what do you guys usually
Well, like
do?
usually we try to do like so follow us everywhere podcasts are available. Nerd Shit in the Dark. We got the Patreon. You know,
We got Patreon, and it's free right now. And you have to imagine me
He's
standing up
wiggling
and
his
walking
hands.
around the room, by the way.
He's gotten better at that. He sits still when we record now. Yeah, but you're not wrong.
I love that guy. I wish he was here right now, but we'll
Aw,
we'll
shout
have
out
to
to
have
Braden.
we'll have both of you guys over the next time, and
Absolutely.
we'll host you again for one of these
Absolutely.
nerd shit.
It'll be fun. Yeah.
Thank
Well,
you so much.
thanks for listening, everybody. Thanks for being on, you guys. And as always, remember to
Like and subscribe.
like and subscribe, and then yeah. Then good night, sleep tight. Don't let
Ring
the
that
shit bugs
notification
bite.
bell.
Slam that, send a galaxy.
Slam that basketball like it's got flubber on
Yeah,
it.
hell yeah.
Score. No.
Don't
Forward
get
for Gygax.
Yeah, Gygax. Bye.
guy, gay guy.
Turn it off.